Hey you guys, so it's your girl Jamaica coming back to you to give you lovely teachers some, tidbits, some points and pointers, all those good things. So previously we talked about the SAO, which is your student achievement objectives. And I told you guys I was going to come back with some examples. Listen, I'm just going to be honest. I recorded this. It was like an hour. It was beautiful and there was no volume. So I'm here to do it again. Even though you didn't see it, I have to mention it because, that's just me. So, I may break this into two parts. And what I'm thinking right now is that I'm just going to go over the some of the general things, kind of show you guys my SAO folder, my binder. Um, and then we'll go in and talk about some specifics. More than likely the specifics is more geared towards ELA, so English language arts. However, you can take notes and apply it to whatever subject it is that you're teaching. So just so you guys can see, this was my SAO folder here, the Bible. Um, and I'm gonna just go through and go over the learning goals and all of that good stuff. So if you have not opened up the paper of your school hasn't sent you out, whatever. I mean, this probably is more specifically to Polk County, but as I stated to you guys in the other video, you can just Google Polk County SAO manual or teacher. This one says teacher and administrator SAO manual. And of course, they're probably doing some more revisions. So there may be a newer one coming out for the 2022, 2023. No, 2023, 2024 school year. But this one was the manual that I have open on my desktop. You can't see it, but it's the one from 2021, 2022. And of course, we don't do VAM scores anymore. So as I stated in the previous video, it is what it is. But what I do want to go over, let me making a mess, move my keyboard out of the way so that I can put this big folder right in front of me. All right, so in this documentation, it says the SAOs encourage and support good teaching and learning. Student achievement objectives are comprised of three key components that are expected to meet um, meet criteria found on the SAO quality rubric. These three components are the learning goals, the assessment, and the targets. So let's kind of go over that for this video more specifically. So the first thing when I open up my binder, I'm one of those people, I like to have a plan and also like for my stuff to match. So boom, the first thing you see when you open it up is the learning goals. So on here on the document, it says learning goals is a description of what students will be able to do at the end of the course or grade. Here it says, by the end of the instruction period, students will be able to read a grade level text and analyze the development of characters, settings, plots, and themes, ideas, and perspectives, authors, and individual characters. Students will paraphrase the text and support their analysis of the author's use of rhetorical appeals. So that was my learning objective. Then on my next sheet here, I put in the big idea. Because when you break it down, there should be a document that you guys receive that you have to fill in these little boxes. So if you're an ELA teacher and you want to do something similar to mine, then I would suggest just reverbaging it however it fits for yourself. And then, of course, make it your own, as always. So here it says the big idea. Boop. The big idea is supported by the learning goals is that the students will display comprehension of the grade level text through multifaceted analysis. I also put in the benchmarks. Once I get down some, you guys, I'll open up this big binder, but as of right now, it's full. So I definitely don't want to do it and mess up. But I also had the benchmarks here as well. And so there's a list of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 different benchmarks, which comprises my learning goal. And because they all kind of fit together and they play on each other, this is the reason why I chose them. And for you in particular, do what you feel best. And I would say do something that you see as a reoccurring theme throughout the whole school year. I know a lot of teachers chose to do something dealing with writing. However, if you're working with some lower income neighborhoods or you're working with students who struggle with writing, it is good to work on those abilities. However, if the majority of the tests are multiple choice questions, then why not do something that deals with the multiple choice questions that they will see, which is almost always a few of these. So for example here, let me go ahead and finish this because I started on the thought, but I'm gonna come back around and go into detail with this later. I'm just gonna breeze through some of the stuff. But anyway, the benchmarks here that I chose was citing evidence to explain and justify reasoning, no matter what it is that the students are doing, whether it is multiple choice or if it's short answer form or um whatever activity, some kind of way they should be explaining the text that they're reading to show that there's some type of comprehension. And based off of their explanation, they should be citing the text to help further their own ideas of what the text is asking them to do. And of course, reading and comprehending grade level text to proficiency, making inferences to support comprehension. I mean, these are things that you should be doing all year long, which are the EE standards in language arts. Then going down into the more specific reading standards, analyzing the interaction between character development, character development, setting, and plot in a literary text, analyzing how two or more themes and their development throughout a literary text, analyzing how an author develops and individualizes the perspective of different characters. All of these things work together. So you want to find benchmarks or standards that are able to align with one another and help the student develop over the course of the year and help them to expand. So the more that you look at your benchmarks and you understand them and you see what connects to what and builds it's like a puzzle, what builds the best big picture, that those are the standards that you kind of want to go with. So again, I chose about 11 of them. You can go back to that part in the video, push pause if you wanted to see them in more detail. I'm probably going to do another video and just really go through a couple of things with you. Also, in terms of the learning goals, another question that was posed in our document says, why is the learning goal important and meaningful to your students to learn? I put this learning goal is important because a vast majority of the students being served are not at grade level. So of course, reading and comprehending grade level text to proficiency is vital. I didn't put that in there, but I'm just letting you guys know as I'm reading through it. But then I said, due to the reading deficient targeted instructions and strategies, let me pause, breathe. And this is sometimes what we have to do with our students. You know, you have to teach them to read with a pace so that they can understand what's going on. Sometimes I'm in a rush, I get too excited. It's okay. So, due to the reading deficiency, targeted instruction and strategies are needed to help students develop the necessary skills to analyze and show comprehension of the text. The learning goals is meaningful because students will not only learn skills to analyze the text, but will also build cognitive skills as they implement critical thinking objectives and increase their awareness or reasoning strategies. Boom, just like that. All right, so the next piece here says, in what ways did the learning goals require students to demonstrate deeper understanding of the knowledge and skills of the standards or big idea being measured? I put here, the learning target requires students to demonstrate deep understanding of knowledge and skills by having students to identify and explain the development of the characters, the settings, the plot, themes, ideas, and perspectives, authors, and individual characters. all of which are encompassed through the learning of several benchmarks, which are listed above. The big idea will be measured through multifaceted analysis of grade level text, included but not limited to multiple choice questions, multiple choice, ordering, matching, short answer responses, and fill in the blank questions. So in terms of assessments, which is the second piece that it talks about in the document, this is how I'm going to assess my students, especially in terms of formative assessments. So, but both the formative and summative assessments can be in the range of any one of these I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but the examples, the assessment types, the questions. So our assessments here says assessments, measures of students' understanding of the learning goal. So any one of these, whether it be a multiple choice question, ordering, matching, short answer responses, fill in the blanks, long answer responses. Again, I said it is inclusive of, but it's not limited to. But any one of those measurements can show me whether or not the students are understanding the goal or the target that they are looking at, which is that benchmark, or even if it's not the benchmark, but it's the actual text that they're looking at. So you're able to differentiate between the two. And I'm going to show you some examples in the next video. So another question, and I have about 4 more pages, you guys, so hang in there with me. But another question here says, describe the instruction and strategies you will use to teach the learning goal. Be specific to different aspects of the learning goal. I said the instruction and strategies that will be employed to teach the learning goals include, but are not limited to, teacher modeling, think aloud, gradual release, peer modeling, small groups, homogeneous and heterogeneous, collaborative pairs, one-to-one instruction, think, pair, share strategies, learning stations, reading reflections, short and long answer responses with rubrics, peer editing, peer grading, and graphic organizers. So again, there's so many different ways that you can assess your students. There's so many ways that you can get this information across and allow them to learn and bridge that learning in multiple facets. So those are just a few examples. If you're looking for some verbiage to throw into your SAOs, you definitely can use that. And again, as I say, manipulate it. Do adjust it for yourself in whatever it is that you guys are teaching. The next one says, describe the summative and formative assessments that measure students' understanding of the learning goals. Include a possible prompt or prompts that align to the learning goals and identify depth of knowledge required for the standards. Part of this, I'm looking at it now, I did not address, but however, when we move forward and I give you guys some more examples in the next video, I will be addressing those things because I did in the last video. But I put here, formative assessments include, but are not limited to, multiple choice, ordering, matching, short one paragraph and long multi-paragraph answer responses, and fill in the blank questions based on the skills that is needed to be acquired. Summative assessments will be a combination of the measurements listed above, but will also include district and state assessments. And in the previous video, I told you guys the 3 things that you can pull to assist you would be: 1, the state assessment, which is your FSA, any district assessment. So for us, that would be, dang, I just caught a blank. I can't even think of it, what the name is. STAR testing. There we go. So your district assessment will be like your STAR testing, anything that you guys are repetitively doing every quarter or every semester. Those are things that you can use as a base. And then of course, as I stated previously, hopefully I believe so. Yeah, that was in the other video. So taking a activity or a test that you're going to post at the end of the year and actually using that as a baseline. So use the end of the year assessment at the very beginning, and then allow the students to work through that, see their skills, what they do and don't know, If they bomb it, it is okay, because again, it's a baseline. It's to show the growth and what they're learning from you as a teacher. So by the end of the year, you should see a significantly different grade from them, because you've had 180 some odd days to assist them in targeting out specific skills or vocabulary or text or whatever it is. Because again, if the aim is for proficiency at the grade level, then of course you should have had plenty of time to expose them to that. So then the next one says, explain how students' performance is defined and scored using the assessments. Describe the level of performance and the specific criteria that will be measured through the rubric or scoring guide. I put assessment scoring will vary. The formative assessment will be based on the standard grading scale. Writing will be graded using a 4-point analysis analytical rubric, which includes the criteria, purpose, and structure. Let me pause. Let me slow down again. Writing will be graded using a 4-point analytic rubric, which includes criteria, purpose, and structure, development, and language, rubric provided by the district. So within the rubric that the district provides for us in order to grade students, there's 3 different areas. The first area is the criteria, purpose, and structure. So you understanding whether the student understands the purpose of the writing, what they're writing for, and then how to structure different pieces of writing. So that's all one piece. The second piece is the development. How are they honing in their writing from the very beginning all the way into the end? Are they missing pieces? Are they holding it together? Which again goes back to the previous standards. So if they can point it out and they can select it from a multiple choice question or whatever else, your DOK 4 would be the writing piece, because it would actually show them doing and articulating the skills in the methods or methodology that you have taught them. So of course, I think like DOK 2 or 3 is like recall, searching, recall, and all this other stuff. You're going to be utilizing all of those things, especially in terms of writing, which is your highest level. And then the last one was language. And so typically they're graded based off of conventions of writing. So do they know how to put a capital letter at the beginning of the sentence, make sure everything else is lowercase, having periods, using commas, whatever punctuation marks are necessary? Are they properly using that information? Are they having complete sentences, or is there any complex sentences? Are they using their transitions? All of these things are taken into consideration. And of course, these are things that you should be reiterating and teaching them along the way. So it will definitely be covered. And then the last thing that's on here for our SAO is the targets. And it says the expected student outcome by the end of the instruction period. What's going to happen on the document, I believe you'll be filling it in. You're going to have the students' names. Again, I usually recommend choosing one class period and then choosing a few additional students. I don't know if they're going to be against that or not, in all honesty, but I highly recommend choosing a full class, whatever class that is, and then choosing maybe a good 10 additional students to add to it from another class. Because especially if you are in a lower economic group where you know that your students are missing days, or you notice, say for instance, you choose first period, but you know the buses come late, whatever it is, just to kind of help build in some cushion for you, because towards the end of the year, you're going to start dropping students and you don't want your numbers to be too screwed, or you have too many outliers. So have an additional 10 kids or so that you're keeping track of. It can seem like a lot, but overall, once you start to, like I say, get rid of some students based off of missing days, whether they're sick or they just choose not to come to school, or behavior and they keep getting suspended, whatever it may be. You want to make sure that your numbers aren't going to put you at a deficit overall. So I think that that was the gist of that. I really wish I would have set a timer so I could have known what I was playing around with. But as far as the targets, once you select those groups that you're going to be looking at, you're going to write in what the baseline score is. So again, if you use that end of the year test at the beginning of the year, that's going to probably be your best bet. You'll get a baseline of what their skills are, especially for that test, and that test being that it's covering the standards that you're looking at. And then also you can use your state test and your district test just as additional fillers, or if a student doesn't have a state or district test, they're new to the school, they're new to the county or whatever have you, new to the state, you still have that test that you provided at the very beginning as a base level. So this kind of just, those three things just kind of cover each other's back. And then of course you have your learning goals, then you're able to reassess them, every week. I honestly can do it almost every day, depending on how you want to do things. But at least 2 to 3 times a week. And I'm going to go over that as well. But you can assess your students, and then by the end of the year, you will take that end of the year test, give it to them, see the significant difference. 9 times out of 10, you can use your state and district tests as baselines throughout the year, but usually the end of SAO is right around April, and they usually don't do that FSA test until May. So sometimes that may mess you up as well. So that's why I'm telling you, having those three pieces is just very vital, and it's going to be the most beneficial for you. So hopefully this was a good video for you. Please leave me some comments, what it is that you would like me to address, if there was anything that was missing, if you have any additional questions. You can always go back, rewind, pause, click play again to assist you with whatever information you needed, just like we had some of those examples. I showed you the book, but I'm going to go ahead and leave out on this one, but I'm going to do one more video, at least one more video for SAOs, and give you guys some examples of what this big binder actually looks like after I have gone through the basics, right? All right, y'all. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Again, it was Jamaica. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click up at the top, subscribe, turn on that bell for notifications, like, share, and comment down below. All right. Have a good one. Love y'all.